mom and dad split up, I was 7 years old. I felt empty. I felt super sad. I felt lost. My thoughts were, I'm going to be alone. I'm not going to be able to possibly grow up like a normal family without a mom and dad both guiding you. I am a financial analyst. What I do is I talk to clients all day on the phone, helping them with credit cards, home loans, as well as balancing checkbook and savings account. Close up. I like talking to the clients. That keeps me happy. They have interesting situations, and I'm able to assist them with the hard stuff as far as the math and Excel sheets. To help them learn how to use QuickBooks and balance their checkbook. So it makes them succeed, and so it makes me succeed. My mom and dad split up. I was 7 years old. I felt empty. I felt super sad. I felt lost. What am I going to do as a child without two parents? I was kind of depressed as well. My thoughts were, I'm going to be alone. I'm not going to be able to possibly grow up like a normal family without a mom and dad both guiding you. I wanted to make sure that I was strong. I was able to be financially stable as well, and I didn't want to go through what I saw as a child. I needed to work to take care of my sister and pretty much take care of myself. So when I started to work, I was 16 years old. And then I worked two jobs at first. And then when I started college, I needed to work 3 to help pay for college. To be a working student I was constantly busy. I was stressed. I had a lot of anxiety. I didn't really take care of myself, so I lost the self-care. So I was just mainly focused on that. I needed to get through this. When I started college and I was accepted to Cal State Northridge, that was a big stepping stone because I know only my father and my whole family has graduated college. Just being accepted was a big stepping stone. When I finally graduated college in 2002, I was extremely excited, and I felt like I accomplished what I wanted as a child. After I graduated, the main struggle is I needed to really take care of myself because I let myself go. As far as mentally, spiritually, physically, and then I already had my job and career starting when I graduated, so it was actually a breath of fresh air that I can actually take care of myself being. In the year 2006, I was introduced to the Church of Christ by a friend. Via social media and email. I was invited multiple times to go to the worship service or even the Bible studies with the Church of Christ. I was neglected up until the year 2007, which was a whole year later after multiple invites. I decided to go into the Church of Christ on one Sunday morning for worship service. I went into the local of Lancaster, California. I sat down, I was listened to the sermon, and I felt like the preaching was all about me and what was going on in my life, so it was very exciting.
Ang sabi sa atin ng Biblia, mababawian niya ng taong umaasa ng tulong anyang mula sa Diyos yung kanilang lakas. Kaya anuman yung problemang yon na kanilang daladala, malulunasan sapagkat hindi sila pababayaan ng ating Panginoong Diyos. Sapagkat ang sabi ng Biblia, ang Diyos ang magliligtas. Yan ang dapat nating sampalatayanan. Ano man ang dumating sa buhay nating mabigat na suliranin. Di ba't totoo ang sinasabi sa atin ng Biblia? Pagka nasa atin ang pagmamahal ng Diyos, pagka tayo sinamahan ng ating Panginoon, lalakas tayo. Mawawala tayo sa kalagayang mahina. Ano man niyang suliranin yan, malalampasan natin. Sapagkat yung kalakasang ibibigay sa atin, yan ang tutulong sa atin para malampasan natin ang lahat ng bagay. Kaya ang isang tunay na lingkod ng Diyos, ang isang tunay na iglesia ni Cristo, kahit na gaano kabigat ang problema, ang unang-unang iisipin niya, sasamba ako. Hindi ako magpapabaya sa aking pagsamba. Sapagkat doon sa pagsamba, mararanasan ko yung kapangyarihan na ibibigay sa akin para nang sa ganon, lumakas ako at may pagtagumpay ko ang aking kahalalan.
After the service, I left. I kept thinking about it because I felt the verses were directed at my situation at the moment. A few weeks later, I searched in the internet and for Church of Christ information, and I was actually looking for an email of some sort where I can email somebody some questions. So I found pusugo.com, and it said, "Oh, let me email them," and I emailed them. I had 1,000 questions, but really I emailed them about 5 or 6, and I ended it as I have more if someone responds. I said, let me go again. After the service that second time, Brother Barry Thompson, I get up and exit, and he actually ran outside and got me in the parking lot, and he said, "Hey, sister, are you the one that emailed?" And I turned around and I said, "Yes, I am." He goes, "Come talk to me." He opened up the Bible. He knew where exactly in the Bible to find it. He didn't make up anything. He always said, let me get you the answer in the Bible. And that was shocking because some people will say, "I think, I know, this is how it is." Instead of saying, "No, let me just show you." And he would actually show me, visually show me. When I finally realized, I believe it's lesson about the true God, I left that lesson with a full feeling that, yes, this is where I need to be. So I felt, this is my spot. I need to complete this, get baptized here. I got baptized June 25th of 2009. I felt like it was a blessing. I felt like I was going to be saved. I felt like God was going to always be by my side. And I felt he was going to help me get a family, because I always wanted to be a mom with kids. And I felt, he's going to be able to help me with that. I just have to pray and be firmly praying. I was married March 24th, 2012. I now have 2 sons. One is 7 years old and one is 2 years old. I definitely wanted them to grow strong in the faith.
California faces another big problem. It has the most coronavirus cases in the country. It's one of 26 states with rising infection rates.
There's a mutuality and there's a recognition of our interdependence that requires of this moment that we direct a statewide order for people to stay at home.
When I heard the news about COVID-19 becoming severe and people were dying, the hospitals didn't have enough room for beds for people, I was kind of shocked. I was worried that my family was going to be affected. I was all, oh no, what's going to happen to my family? Are we going to be stuck at home? Are we not be able to do anything? I was worried how my son will continue school. My thoughts were pretty blank, like what am I going to do?
Huwag nating kalimutan, ang katangian ng ating pagka-Iglesia ni Cristo, may Diyos tayo. Siya ang ating malalapitan. Maaari tayong dumalangin sa Kanya. Maaari tayong magpanata sa Kanya. Para nang sa ganun, tugunin niya yung ating mga pangangailangan. Makahihingi tayo ng patnubay sa mga lingkod ng ating Panginoong Diyos na kinakasangkapan niya para tayo alagaan sa atin pong pananampalataya. Pagka ganyan, di tayo magkakamali. Hindi tayo magkakaroon ng dahilan para tayo ay malihis ng landas sapagkat ang maituturo sa atin yung kalooban ng ating Panginoong Diyos na kailangan natin para mapawasto ang ating buhay. Ang hingan mo ng solusyon, yung talagang makagagawa ng solusyon sa problema mo. Sino? Ang ating Panginoong Kristo at higit sa lahat ang ating Panginoong Diyos. Pero paano po mangyayari yun? Yung kanyang mga salita, yung mga itinuturo sa atin. Yun ang kinakailangan nating dinggin. Makakaya na kasi nating malampasan ang lahat ng yun. Sapagkat tutulugan nga tayo ng ating Panginoong Kristo, hindi niya tayo pababayaan. Kaya yung sinabi kaninang pagtulong na yon, ngayon ginagarantihan sa atin ng ating Panginoong Kristong gagawin niya. Ano lamang ang kinakailangan sa atin? Kinakailangang magalak, kinakailangang magpakatapang, kinakailangang manalig, magpakatotoo, lakasan natin ang ating loob. Para nang sa ganun, kung paano niya nadaigang sanglibutan, magawa rin nating madaig ang lahat ng ito at makarating tayo sa hangganan.
The household worship service helped us become stronger, knowing that we can still worship at home. It helped remind me of that He's always there for us, no matter what we need to go through. I had to, adjust my life from working in an office to working at home. I had to adjust my 7-year-old from going to school every morning to go to virtual learning and teaching him how to do all the Zoom classes, how to submit homework online for a 7-year-old. That was very difficult. And we also, we had to talk about my spouse, not working or myself not working. What brought it up is my son was, he's young and I'm working from home and I can't talk to people all day and help my 7-year-old with school. We talked about money-wise as well as medical insurance-wise. Who would handle, not working more beneficial. Plus I have more invested in my company with 20 years. So it was kind of a lot of stuff we talked about back and forth. To help to make that decision, as well as we prayed to God for guidance as well all throughout that time.
Ang sabi sa atin ng Biblia, ang Diyos na mahabagin anya, gagawin na tama ang lahat ng bagay. Sa makatwid, hindi niya tayo pababayaan. Siya ang unang-unang tutulong sa atin sa lahat ng ating mga pangangailangan. Hindi kayo pababayaan ng Diyos. Mahalaga tayo sa Kanya. Siya ang tutulong sa atin. Siya ang gustong-gustong tumulong sa atin. Kailangan lang matuto tayong maglagak ng ating pagtitiwala sa Kanya. Sa Kanya natin idulog ang lahat ng ating mga pangangailangan. Huwag tayong bibitiw sa ating Panginoong Diyos. Sapagkat Siya lamang ang tanging lunas sa atin. Isipin ninyo, hindi lang ang ating Panginoong Kristo ang tutulong sa atin, ang ating Panginoong Diyos, higit sa lahat. Isa lang sa kanila ang tumulong sa atin, malaking bagay na. Ito, sila mismo ang nakahandang tumulong sa atin. Walang Iglesia ni Kristong dapat manlupaypay. Walang Iglesia ni Kristong dapat mawala ng pag-asa. Walang Iglesia ni Kristong dapat sumuko. Sapagkat napakalakas natin pagka nasa atin ang ating Panginoong Diyos at ang ating Panginoong Kristo.
When my spouse stopped working, we're able to still be financially healthy, still have insurance. It's worked out. And it's been since August of last year. That was all because of Almighty God. My oldest son, Connor, is currently in the 2nd grade. He does do really well in his studies. I'm very proud that doing virtual learning, he raises his hand, he wants to talk, he shares his items, he reads his stories to the class, he answers math problems. So that's definitely a blessing. Myself and my husband and the 2 kids were doing great. We're actually stronger people, even as a family here, and we're happy. We're just trying to stay safe. I couldn't be thankful for it to be this way. I'm even more thankful because we're actually all together all day long, and I like that because I didn't have that growing up. Here, as far as the family being intact and everybody's in form of a communication, I'm thankful for all that, for that bonding time that we get. Going through the past, and at a young age, I had a troubled life, so I felt lost most of the time. And having my own family and watching my kids grow here and be happy all the time, it's actually extremely exciting to me on a daily basis because I didn't get to experience that as a child. Some of the things that I know won't happen to my family is myself and my spouse splitting up, and where kids will grow up with either one parent. I know that won't happen due to God's guidance. In any type of trials we have as a family, we always pray about it and ask for guidance. It is a different feeling from when I wasn't a Church of Christ member to when I am now, as far as I know that I can fervently pray, and I'm always going to get an answer from God. I am also an officer in the church. I'm the assistant head secretary in the local. It does keep me strong in my faith, and it makes me feel like I'm closer to God holding an office. Being a member of the Church of Christ with myself and my family, it does mean a great blessing to me because we are all able to worship God together. We're able to stay strong. When I'm looking at my 2 sons, and if I were to think about when I was growing up, I always say what I went through, you're not going to go through. I'm thankful for that. What we would like for our 2 sons is to become strong members inside the Church of Christ. Understand that always praying to God, you'll always get an answer. Also, we would want either our oldest son, Connor, or both of them to become ministers inside the church. What our executive minister, Brother Eduardo Vimanalo, does as far as the live streaming, the video streaming worship services, he really cares for his brothers and sisters in the church, and he really cares for our overall well-being to ensure that we gain our salvation. When I attended the live streaming given by Eduardo Vimanalo, it was a great reminder, so I felt like it was a refresher. I felt that I really needed it, especially this time of age with the pandemic. Certain things happen where you get sad, and you have to be reminded that the worship service makes you strong each time you attend, and then as well as be reminded not to be depressed. So it was a great reminder that way, and to always call on God because He will provide.